So tonight's session, we're just waiting for a few more people to come on. I just want to highlight it's all about attraction secrets you need to know to be irresistible. And what I'd love you to do is sit back and relax and chat, be really comfortable and just send through any questions throughout the night that you may have, and I'll get through as many as I possibly can. So very exciting. So I thank you again for your time. I know we're very close to Christmas and it's a really great time of year. Love is certainly in the air. So first, let's look at how to have that irresistible charm. So irresistible charm is really all about natural charisma. And what natural charisma is, it's, you know, some people walk into the room and they just exude this confidence, and people naturally gravitate towards them. They have this natural charisma that they're not even aware of, but anyone can have that natural charisma if you actually know how to apply it. So what they do is they tend to make it all about the other person. They're really positive. They're quite relaxed. And they tend to have very upbeat conversations, and their body language is very open and positive. So you'll find that their shoulders and their arms are wide. They tend to use their hands when they speak. They rarely have crossed arms or crossed legs. So they're all about just being open and connection. And what they do is natural charisma is all about listening way more than they talk. They maintain eye contact. Smile, frown, nod, and respond. And the response can be both verbal and non-verbal. And that's really all it takes to show that other person to be important. So you don't have to jump out of your skin, but what you do is just simply connect. And when you're on a date, just imagine that person across the table is like one of your really great friends, and treat them the same way. Think about how you connect with a long-lost friend. It just comes out so natural. So when the other person, or when you actually do speak to the other person and they share something with you, it's not about offering advice. It's simply about listening and really being in that present moment. So a really charismatic, irresistible person, they don't practice selective hearing. What they do is you take everything that you're actually saying and really connect and really listen to the fine details and speak to them in a free way. A very charismatic person also puts their stuff away. They don't check their phone. Don't look around everywhere else except for the person in front of them, not even for a moment. So it's connecting with that person in front of you and making them feel like they're the only person in the room will have you seen as incredibly charismatic. Charismatic people also give before they receive. My apologies for the screen. So it's all about, some people you have a conversation with and they're not listening to what you're going to say. They're actually waiting for that moment to just butt in and start telling their side of the story. A charismatic person actually hears everything that you have to say, or the other person has to say, before they actually share what it is that they want to talk about. And they don't act self-important. So the only people that are really impressed by acting overly important, pretentious, are the other pretentious people. When you really think to yourself, is that something I want to connect with? Probably not. Relationships are all about being true, being down to earth, and being in your heart space, which I'll talk about a little later on. And being charismatic, you realize that other people are important. You see yourself as equal, and that's also a sign of healthy self-esteem. So showing that you're not above that person, or below that person. The fact is that you're both equal, and that's incredibly irresistible. Charismatic people also shine their spotlight on the others. It's really, again, all about making it about the other person. And they choose their words wisely. So they're, it's not about, it's really being selective about what you actually talk about versus just giving your 2 cents worth and being really opinionated. And they don't discuss the failings of others. So again, remaining really positive, no gossip, staying really focused on the present moment with that person. And the other thing that irresistible, charismatic people do is they actually admit their failings. Sometimes it's the most beautiful person in front of you, or you see true beauty when the person is when they actually admit some of their hardships, their failings, they're being really vulnerable. And there's a difference between the poor me syndrome, or I'm a victim, and actually being in that heart space and sharing who you are as a person. If you have any questions, happy to answer as we go along too. So next, we're looking at discover what it takes to have that magnetic appeal and attract the opposite sex. So obviously, the most important thing is a smile. I mean, we all admit that the smile is a universal sign in every culture that tells you that you like them. It's often an invitation that says, come closer. People smile at each other, a connection has begun, and the smile speaks volumes from across a crowded room or in a face-to-face conversation. An attractive smile is your greatest asset. So, and most importantly, make sure when you do smile that you don't have salad or spinach leaves or olives in your teeth, that they're nicely clean. And, you really, a smile's free. It doesn't cost anything, and it can really make someone's day. And sometimes, people might think, I believe that people don't smile enough in the city. And when you practice this, sometimes I go for a walk along the beach or the esplanade, and I'm smiling away at people, and they probably think I'm a bit strange, but it's okay as long as I've take them off their serious mode. So it's all about making the other person feel good. So if you truly want to be irresistible, make it all about that other person. Show them your warmth and be really, really just in that space. And I'm going to talk about that a lot. Eye contact is priceless. Communicating your interest in someone becomes really compelling, even more so with eye contact. Some people just can't help but feel drawn to a person who holds their gaze. It really enhances the possibility of attracting someone you're interested in. So whether it be, eye contact, it's so important that you can actually emphasize the beauty of your eyes also. So if your eyes are blue and your shirt is the same color, it can really highlight those eyes. Same goes for green or brown eyes. So, it's eye contact tells you a lot about a person, and it creates a lot of trust. So quite often when we have body language experts, and you'll often know, they tend to read eye contact as to what direction someone's looking at. If you ask the question to somebody who's very visually inclined, they'll tend to look up, and that's the visual space, versus somebody that's in a very touchy-feely, what we like to call kinesthetic. They'll look down and then present the answer to you, versus someone who's auditory, who's very, very vocal. They tend to look to the side and then give you that answer. So they're little cues on how to tell whether someone's visual, someone's auditory, or very kinesthetic, very feeling-based. And it's very interesting if you have children, or you know someone with children, or you can even use this within yourself. So quite often I have a little 9-month-old, as some of you know, she'll be in a space where she may be a little upset. So, and it works better with older children. Often a distractor, it's like, look up in the air. Is that, look at the beautiful thing up there. And when you actually distract her eyes from looking down to the feeling space to looking up to visual mode, it actually stops that emotion, stops the little tanty, which we don't like to admit, the little tanty, and actually takes it to a much greater space. And if you're ever in a mode where you're just really feeling as though you want some rejuvenation, you want to have more energy, just look up. It's as simple as looking up to the beautiful sky, and interestingly, you'll feel a massive sense of hope and relief. Eye contact, very priceless. Having that magnetic appeal and attraction is also about being flirtatious. Now, some people naturally are flirtatious, whereas others, it's something that doesn't come so naturally. And being flirtatious is really all about being comfortable in your own skin. It's about connecting. It's about showing that person, hey, I'm really proud and confident with who I am. And it's taking the focus off yourself and making it all about the other person. And being flirtatious can come in the form of words, body language, and also tonality. And you'll probably notice that my tonality changes a lot throughout this presentation. That's the way I tend to speak. So only 7% of what we say, our spoken words, is actually, spoken words is only 7% of communication. 38% is tonality, and 55% is body language. So when you're listening to a presentation, or you may have gone to a lecture when you're at uni and you have that really monotoned lecturer, you tend to switch off. So being flirtatious is all about lifting, changing your pitch and tone. And it's most importantly having a fun and a free spirit. So bring out your inner child. Remember what it was like to be a teenager. Take the weight of the world off your shoulders. Get out there and have fun. Do the things that you love to do because you know you deserve it. Now, being vulnerable is, I would have to say, one of the hardest things to do when it comes to attracting the opposite sex, and actually really putting yourself out there. Being vulnerable it feels like it's a huge risk, but not being vulnerable, on the other hand, can really show a person that you may not care, you may not have any interest in them, and it can really close a lot of doors for you. And I don't know if any of you watched The Bachelor. I know I watched a few episodes, and you'll notice, I can't remember the girl's name. She was the brunette. She was the model from Perth. And it wasn't until a few, right towards the end of the program, that she started to show her vulnerability. And that's what was really appealing to The Bachelor, was when she showed her true self. And that's what, when you're really, really great friends, you actually know each other's stories. You know what's really going on. And that's vital when it comes to dating. But it's also having that fine line. Obviously, you don't reveal everything initially. You have that mystery, but I'll talk to you about that a little later on. And balance your masculine and feminine energies. I have so much content on this, and we won't be able to go through all of this tonight, but next year I'll be focusing a lot of sessions on masculine and feminine energy. I absolutely love it. I believe if you have your masculine and feminine energies in balance, it's the secret to successful, happy, loving, passionate relationships that last. There's such a huge imbalance, or I like to call the gender confusion, because we're working so many long hours, especially women go to work really driven. They have to be dominant, very, very aggressive in that corporate or business environment. Coming home, it's really important to leave that outside of the door. And what happens is it's actually coming in, and men aren't really sure what to do with it. They're not finding that appealing. And that's when women become really competitive with their men. And men really don't want that. They want that feminine energy. They want that, the girl. They want the woman. I mean, the man, there's a lovely quote I love. Men fall in love with the girl, with the innocence, not the CEO. So keep that in mind. If you want to learn a little bit more about that, please do get in touch with me at the end of tonight's session, and I'm more than happy to give you so much more information on the masculine and feminine energies. There's also a really great movie, if you haven't seen it, by Steve Harvey, and it's called Think Like a Man. Think Like a Lady? No. Think Like a Man, Act Like a Lady. It's got a book out, really fantastic, great comedy, but it's really amazing messages out there. So to balance your masculine and feminine energies, a lot of that comes with spending your time on your own. For women, it's about bringing out your inner goddess, doing the things that you love to do, the girly things, catching up with your friends, doing your nails, really allowing that time, and actually speaking to your friends, letting out the feminine. It's really just about going back to who you used to be before you became this, highly successful woman, which is still brilliant, but as you know, it can really work against you if you don't have that balance. And quite often I hear women say, oh, the man, I just need the man to step up. I feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. And if you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, it's a good sign that your masculine energy is really high. And for men, on the other hand, it's okay to also have feminine energy, and that comes out when you're connecting with your friends, when you're taking care of your loved ones and playing with your kids, if you have any, or other people's. And it's just about, you will feel really balanced and really complete when you have both of your energies in balance. And it's about the yin and yang. And you see the beautiful couples, and they dance. They actually move between the masculine and feminine energy so beautifully. It's almost like a two mating snakes, which is quite a funny way to look at it. But it really is. It's a wave of masculine and feminine, and that's a beautifully supported relationship where one may be feeling really strong, the other one may be feeling a bit weaker, and it's okay to feel both ways. Takes us to our next slide. So the secret strategies to help you feel calm and relaxed during the early stages of dating. And I feel for you out there. I know what it's like. I don't know what you're personally experiencing, but we've all felt the anxieties of the early stages of dating. Does that person like me? Will I ever hear from them? It drives you crazy if you allow it. So I thought I'd love to share with you how you can relax through this process, feel more confident, and get the results that you want. So firstly, most importantly, it's about sitting with the uncertainty. So knowing that, hey, this is going to pass, and looking at the whole dating scene, the early stages of dating as exciting, knowing that I will have the answers. I know in a few months' time where this is going. So know, all right, this uncertainty will pass. And the uncertainty, the beautiful thing about it is the uncertainty helps create chemistry. So can you imagine if you had a date and you really liked that person and that person liked you, and your date declared their love for you and said, look, had a really great time. I think we're really well suited. I can see ourselves getting married, having children, spending the rest of our lives together. You'd probably run for the hills. I know that I certainly would. So sitting with the uncertainty is a good thing because it allows you to go back and analyze, okay, is this something I want? Is this particular person someone I'd like to see again? I always recommend at least 3 dates before you make your mind up, because the first date, you both, trust me, incredibly uncomfortable. You're not being who you are, and it's really just about connecting. Sit with the uncertainty. Know that chemistry arises, and it will definitely be worth the wait. And all healthy relationships have uncertainty. If a relationship is too certain, that's when boredom starts, and that's when couples start to grow apart and they start to do different things. So the next thing, how to deal with the uncertainty, is create rituals. Now, rituals are things that create certainty in your life, and they may be things like going to the gym. All right, rituals tend to happen at least 3 times a week, so it could be going to the gym 3 times a week. It could be you have your weekly ritual of catching up with your friends. It might be Wednesday night hump day, catching up with a particular friend, going out to dinner. It could be a new study. It could be new hobbies. Whatever it is, have at least 2 to 3 rituals a week, which will give you the certainty that you're seeking that you can't exactly have in the early stages. So the more uncertainty you have in your life in the early stages of dating, you really don't know if you'll ever hear from that person again, because you may think, it's happened to me in the past, they've disappeared, will they come back? So knowing that, all right, how do I deal with that without staring at my phone every 2 seconds? Build up your confidence through your rituals, exercise, connecting with friends, and really doing the things you adore. The next point is love you. So it's easy. You often hear people say, oh, you've got to love yourself before you love others. And it's true, you do. What does that actually mean? It's easy to say, oh, I do love myself. But really, it's loving you is about doing the things that you adore. It's about taking your time out for you. I mean, I don't know what it is for you, but for me, if I want some self-love, when I'm feeling as though I need to be filled up, it's things like massage, having some acupuncture, maybe a weekend away, or heading off to a day spa, or just simply sitting down at the beach and listening to the waves, taking time out, just doing something. Sometimes it's doing nothing, or even reading a book, or treating myself to a new outfit, or whatever it is you think about. And it's something you should write down, is what is it that you could do to feel more love for you. It's also about staying calm and relaxed. It's about being your playful inner child. It's all about what is it that makes you feel giggly, makes you feel light, makes you have fun. So you'll know what that inner child is. And quite often it's about just getting outside in nature and playing sport. And just believe it will happen and know that you deserve love. Most importantly, to stay calm and relaxed, it's about following your heart and meditating, and allow that space for you. Even if it's 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the afternoon, sitting quietly, this will help you stay calm and relaxed during the early stages of dating. It's really powerful. Just do it. Try it for a week and see how you feel. And I challenge you to do it a week, 7 days, morning and night. See, most people actually don't make it. So see how you go. All right. So how to create instant chemistry and increase your chances of love. We all love chemistry. Most importantly, it's all about being non-judgmental. So really just allowing yourself to be present with that person. Knowing that, okay, well, they may be wearing a particular type of style of clothing or shoes, and you may not particularly like. So just knowing that, okay, well, being non-judgmental, we all come from different backgrounds, we all have different tastes, and we all like different things. So, and it's also about creating instant chemistry. Is about looking at what similarities that you have. So couples and really happy
friendships also start from similarities. That comes down to values, whether you both value things like sport, whether you both value things, similarities like similar movies, similar TV programs. Couples, they've also proven that couples that have the same views on, sexual chemistry and pornography actually have 8 times happier than the average couple. So it's a little bit of an extreme example, but it's proven that every little bit of similarity works. Whilst you don't want to date someone that's identical to you, you want someone that's going to, for example, want to live a similar life to you. So if you're an early riser, you like to get out, have some breakfast in the morning, go out for breakfast and get outdoors, versus somebody that likes to stay up really late at night and not get out and not get amongst it. There's going to be some real difference. So instant chemistry is really focusing on your similarities. So on your date, talk about if you've been to a particular holiday destination, really relate to each other with that. You talk about your favourite moments and where you'd like to go again and all your passions. It's also really important to remain mysterious, so revealing a little without too much information. So even couples that have been in relationships for many years, it's about being mysterious, keeping that curiosity there and allowing your partner just that enough information to connect with you, but also not have to know all the details, because all the details aren't generally very necessary. And what I mean by all the details, it's not about hiding anything, but it is about just revealing the relevant stuff. So you don't need to reveal the colour of the shorts or skirt you're wearing when you went on a particular holiday. It's all about the the feeling stuff. So instant chemistry and increasing your chances of love is naturally about attraction. So if you follow some of the steps that were discussed about connecting, eye contact, smiling, being the best person you can be, it increases your chances of chemistry and finding love. Also, mutual trust. So what is a relationship when you don't have that trust? It's non-existent. So mutual trust is about feeling safe. It's about being able to be you, and remember that takes time. And that's also a big part of that, is being non-judgmental. It's about just allowing that person to be who they are and vice versa. So can you imagine on a date, if you're on a date with someone and they criticize, even playfully, your glasses or your shoes or whatever it is, you'd feel a bit on the defensive side, versus, often if you're not really approving of something, it's best not to talk about it and just focus on what it is that you approve on in the early stages especially. And later on down the track, you can have a laugh about what your thoughts are about that, whatever it is that you're not sure on. And it's all about effortless communication. And effortless communication is what I mentioned earlier about the being in the present moment, not having any distractions, and put your mobile phone away, don't answer calls, no texting, just having effortless eye contact and focusing on the similarities that you have from looking up and onwards. I'd also like to share with you the biggest mistakes that people make on a first date. Now, we've heard that saying, being late is really fashionable, and that may have worked in the 80s, but not so much today. People are busy and turning up late is frowned upon. So it's really important to arrive around the specified time, agreed time. Make sure you don't talk about too much about yourself. Ask questions about the other person. Not asking questions really shows that you're not interested, and complaining, whether it be work or whether it be complaining about your day, the traffic, your ex, talking about your ex, big no-no. So even complaining about them is not good. So if you don't have anything nice to say, best not to say it at all. And also, one of the biggest mistakes people make on a first date, I hear it from time and time again, is not going to any effort. I mean, I've heard of people turning up and just having a quick interview, going, just a little coffee date, up and over in 20 minutes. So that doesn't work. So go to an effort, dressed to impress. Don't come straight from the gym or work. Go home, have a fresh start, make the effort. Think about how you would like your date how much effort would you like your date to put towards you, and do the same. Even ladies, have a blow dry. Men, just really freshen up. Women love smell. It's a massive aphrodisiac. So no talking or texting on the phone, and definitely no treating it like an interview. The worst questions you could ask is, where do you live? What do you do? What car do you drive? They're big no-nos. There's so much more to the other person sitting across from you. So make sure that you get to know all that sort of stuff. Go to some effort. I've got going to little or no effort twice. So. Crazy kind of love. The real reason you've dated dysfunctional types and how to stop it from happening again. And the main reason there is that you're addicted to drama, and a lot of people are addicted to drama. It's a natural human need to have that variety and adventure. It's our second core need after safety. So if you found that you've dated people or had relationships with people who are a little bit like a roller coaster, so they're really, really exciting, really, really adventurous, and you find that really attractive, but after a while you get quite exhausted from the highs and lows, you look at yourself and go, how is it that I ended up in that particular relationship, and take responsibility. Generally what happens, if you end up in those sorts of relationships, it means that you need to fulfill your need for a variety and adventure within yourself first. What that means is getting out there, getting out of your comfort zone and having fun, bringing out your inner child, really connecting with you. So it could mean, I remember I had a fantastic client, and he was saying to me, why do I date all the crazy women? And I said to him, all right, tell me a little about you. And I knew that he was driven by love and connection and variety and adventure. And he was telling me, I said, what do you do for fun? And he said, oh, I go on holidays and I watch TV and I read. I said, fantastic. How often do you go on holidays? And he said, oh, maybe once or twice a year. I said, amazing. And what do you do on those holidays? Oh, I sail and I try new things and I try new cuisines and I explore and I love it. And I said, that's great. So you do that once or twice a year. And the rest of the year, you're pretty boring, yeah? Reading and watching TV. That's not going to fulfill his need for variety and adventure. So what he was doing was he was going for those women who were just a little broken. They loved to create drama. And he didn't realize he was addicted to that drama because he hadn't fulfilled it within. So what we did an exercise to find out what it was that he could do to fulfill that need within himself. And he wasn't leaving until I had the answers and he had the answers. So what we came to the conclusion at the end of that evening was that he absolutely loved sailing, and he really, really wanted to take up a martial art. So by the end of the session, he was walking home, and I said, okay, on your way home, we've Googled these places. I want you to call them and book in your sessions and start this. So what he did was he took up sailing on Wednesday nights, and he took up boxing, a martial arts class once a week. And his desire for the dysfunctional types was gone. He wanted a normal, happy relationship because his need for variety and adventure was fulfilled within. So he was then started to do that resourcefully. And that was music to my ears, and it was a massive sigh of relief for him. So he used to think, oh, the other people, the other girls are really boring, but in actual fact it was him. He was living a boring life, and it wasn't until he fulfilled his that he no longer found dysfunctional types appealing. So I hope that insight has been helpful for you, because I know it certainly was for me when I discovered the psychology of human behavioural patterns. So having certain expectations will make you happier, more attractive to the opposite sex, and will help finding a quality partner happen sooner. So this is really all about being positive. It's about connecting. It's about being you, your inner child, and knowing that it's going to happen. Really great things will happen for you. It's just about allowing it. I often get asked, am I being too picky? So when it comes to finding the love of your life, it's all about having an essential checklist for a long-term partner. I can't stress more how important values are. So values are essential to your relationship, to the happiness and fulfillment within you and your partner. So values such as family values, attitudes to health, attitudes to exercise, values and attitudes towards travel, attitudes towards money, attitudes towards smoking, drinking, all sorts of things. So what do you value most? And a really good way to know what you value is what presses your hot buttons, what are you really passionate about. So for me, an example is loyalty and honesty and integrity. So it's really being open about those values and making sure that your partner and you have really aligned values. Hobbies and interests. As I mentioned before, two really active people are really well suited versus one that's a couch potato and one that isn't. So hobbies and interests could be things like art galleries, it could be travel, it could be, they're saying that couples that play together stay together. And I know at my gym there's this beautiful couple and they're so happy. And I was speaking to them. They had their 18-year anniversary. And I said, wow, that's amazing. What's your secret? And they said, we're just best friends. We play together, and it feels like we've only known each other, since yesterday. It just is amazing, and you could truly see that they were best friends. And best friends is also about having those mutual interests and allowing each other space. I mean, she loved her triathlons. He preferred weightlifting, and that was a good thing. They supported each other. And what is chemistry and the physical attributes? What's important to you physically? What's important to your other partner? It's about knowing what's realistic and what it is, and what is it that you have to bring to the party versus the other person. And when it comes to the physical attributes, yes, it is. It's all about visually connecting, auditory, being able to connect by communication, kinesthetic, feeling really good, and having those long-term goals. Long-term goals, having similar long-term goals, absolutely essential. Long-term relationships is knowing that you want the same things, and if one of you wants to move in 5-10 years' time to the country and the other one doesn't, you'll hit that problem then, versus having a plan. And plans can change, but knowing that you both want the same things out of life. And that brings me to tonight, the conclusion of tonight's webinar. So I'd love to offer all of you tonight that listened, if you don't already have, a copy of Mind Reading Your Partner. And if you'd like to receive a copy of that, simply email Samantha at bluelabellife.com.au. And what this book is, it's about knowing your behavioural, your personality type, and knowing what your partner's behavioural and personality type, or the person that you're interested in. So knowing that, how to connect and communicate. So you may be, when you're working with someone who's a CEO or a manager or a business owner, it's very different to somebody with a scientific mind. And you can connect with these very different individuals is incredibly different. And when you know the way both parties work with their behavioural profiles and what makes them tick, there'll be a lot less misunderstanding. I've met some really fantastic clients who've simply been misunderstood by the opposite partner. So I urge you to have a read. Get out there and read as much as you can. We've got so much information on our blog for all of you, and We've been working on it regularly because of all the questions that we have, and we'd love to help in any way. So if you've got any questions, feel free to shoot them through to samantha@bluelabellife.com.au. I'm more than happy to answer them, and I'm more than happy to share that with you. So thank you for tonight, and good night, everyone.